I'm Josh Bain and I'm from Pembroke Dock. I'm 21 years old. I am the youngest county councillor on Pembrokeshire County Council. I'm also chair of the Waste Working Group, which has led the work on the curbside sort, which is coming in October 2019. I'm really interested in all things eco. I've always been a bit of a eco warrior when it comes to things. I've just finished my dissertation actually in university on the economic impact of plastic pollution. And where sort of my passion comes from with being an eco champion is that we've actually only got one environment and one planet, so we've got to do all we can to make sure that we look after it for future generations. I'm a eco champion because I'm championing the changes coming in by Pembrokeshire County Council for the curbside sort. I actually happen to think it's a really good idea. You can recycle more of the waste that you generate at home, and it's turning the mindset more into actually not looking at it as waste, but actually as a resource that we can actually use. At the moment, Wales's recycling rate is probably about 60% on average, but I think we could do a lot better than that. The ambition by the Welsh Government is to reach a zero waste Wales by 2050. And yes, you need action from national governments, but we can do all that we can at home to make sure that we recycle as much as possible. At the moment in Wales, we've got 22 local authorities, and whilst some do recycling and waste collection on a similar basis, there are still differences, and I think that's where the confusion comes from. If every single local authority in Wales actually followed this blueprint, we actually had a curbside sort system where we're all recycling better, then our recycling rates in Wales would skyrocket and we would be one of the sort of national leaders on a global basis on recycling, which I think is always a plus. So what we can do at home is when we actually recycle or look at a piece of waste, we just have to sort that waste ourselves. So we can recycle more plastic, we can recycle our glass, we can recycle our food waste. A lot of the materials you actually use at home can be recycled. Even those that need absorbent hygiene products, they can also be recycled as well with the new systems. The new system allows us to recycle much more than we previously could with the orange bag, but also it's a higher quality of recycling, which means that we're doing a lot more for the planet, which reduces how much also goes to landfill as well, which is always a plus in my books. I don't see the reduction in residual waste being picked up free weekly rather than fortnightly is actually a bad thing. If we actually all did our bit to recycle more, then we can actually all help the environment. If you actually look at how much can be recycled under the new scheme, then we are taking far more recyclables. At the moment in my house, I'm really conscious of what I buy in the supermarkets and try and actually buy things that aren't environmentally damaging, so I actually look at what can be recycled and how I can do a little bit more. And when you actually sit down and think about how much can be recycled, it really is extraordinary what we can each individually do. My biggest inspiration, I think, comes from the fact that we do only have one environment and we have to do everything we can to protect it. We look at reports recently by the United Nations on things like climate change and biodiversity, and if we don't reduce our waste as well, then more goes into landfill. We're doing more to harm the environment. I think we need to look at the wider picture about how we can actually all do things individually to make sure that the environment's better for ourselves, but also for future generations going ahead. At home, everyone can actually take part. I think the most important thing at first is to recognise that everyone needs to have their food waste bin, to actually sort the recycling, and then also look at what goes in their black bag. And instead of actually throwing something in a bin without thinking about it, have a think, have a look at the packaging. Is it recyclable? And if it is, put it in the recycling. And each and every single one of us can do what we can to make sure that we're doing the most with our waste. The number one thing that people can do to actually be a champion is just to sort of realise the power and difference of one. If we all collectively recycled and did a little bit more to save the environment, then it would be far better for everyone else. I'm Josh and I'm a Pembrokeshire Eco Champion.